Punishment for a crime?
Yeah, for crimes.
What
yes.
kind of crime?
You name it. You name it.
The crime of wanting to spite your face. I had to do it. I had to.
Okay, don't use that one tonight on stage.
Believe me, I won't. Okay.
Okay. So, and what culture? What culture was big on this?
This was in Ireland, in Egypt, in the Middle East.
So how
all
would they
over
do
the
it?
place.
They just cut.
Just hack it off. There was this story about Nepal. There was this whole town, Kirtipur, supposedly, where because the whole town was disloyal to the local conquerors, invaders, whatever, they denosed all the male population.
My God, we are just awful as a species. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
How disgusting.
You ever been to an ancient ruin, say, but be a Roman or Greek, and seen a statue?
With 9.7 billion.
And its nose has been chipped away.
Yeah,
It's the same
Sphinx,
thing.
the nose is
Same
like
thing.
But is that on purpose?
Defacing
I
their
thought it
gods.
just fell off like the old man
I'm
in the
guessing
mountain.
that was
So
defacing their
that's a
gods.
defacement of a...
Is that right?
Apparently so.
Is that
Yeah,
right?
that's pretty cool.
Wow.
So the literal meaning of the word deface would be to just
slap off your nose. Yeah.
Hack off a nose.
Oh, that's interesting. So where were you when I was writing the book?
wow.
That's so cool. But also,
And you said
then
the
there
old man
was
in the mountain that's in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire,
Yeah.
yes, and the nose fell off there. Natural causes.
Yeah.
However, now,
So who was the military surgeon that came up, U.S. military surgeon, came up with an idea for
Frank
noses?
Teddemore.
That's
yes,
the fella.
love him. Frank Teddemore. Okay, 1894. Frank Teddemore, army surgeon, came up with, it was a pair of glasses. This is going to work mostly for men. Pair of glasses, okay, and then you would hang a celluloid plastic nose off the glasses. You need a little bit of nose left for the glasses.
right.
And then at the bottom, to hide the line, there was a mustache.
mustache.
So it's basically
It's the
a
Groucho
medical,
Marx. Exactly. It's the
a
Groucho Marx
medical,
glasses.
yeah, exactly, a medical version of that. Yeah, exactly.
Who would have thought?
But what was more amazing, although it's hard to beat the Groucho Marx glasses, was going back to like the 1500s. There was surgery where you would take a flap from the cheek, right, or the forehead, and then separate it, but leave it attached in one spot. Flip it over onto the nose. Leave it attached so it has a blood supply while it's growing in on the nose, right? And that worked pretty well. But you'd have scarring on the face. So this guy, I love this guy, Tagliacozzi, Gaspari Tagliacozzi in the 1500s is like,
Was he Italian?
No, he was from Pittsburgh.
Go
So
on.
he came up with this thing like let's take the underside of the upper arm
That you don't normally look at.
that you don't look at, right? There's no hair there or anything. So, but the problem then is that you had to have your head kind
Like attached to your
like
face, your arm attached to your
like
face
you're
until
checking
it
if
grows
you
in.
have BO.
Right.
It's that position, right? So you do like that for a couple weeks. And so he had this whole harness system.
Back then,
set
everyone
up.
had BO. Let's be clear about this.
So that made it easier. Like, I was like,
Am I lying?
That's
Am I-
true. No.
there's a statue of Gaspari Tagliacozzi in Bologna. It's like a niche in the wall, and it's a full figure thing, and he's stepping forward towards the viewer, and he's holding something in his hand, and you like look closely, like, what is it? It's a nose.
Wow.
That's his
Completely
thing.
creepy.
Yeah.
So there was a whole industry to repair those who were defaced.
Yeah, and then syphilis came along. More need, more demand for fixing noses. It's been a thing.
Now, what's the tie to syphilis? I mean, I'm not familiar with the
Eventually, if you don't treat it, I guess the bridge of the cartilage.
The cartilage deteriorates, and
or
then
something like that.
yeah.
Let's get into how implant surgeons, plastic surgeons, as we historically refer to them, came across the golden ratio and Fibonacci sequence when it came to breast implants and fat transfer. That just seemed to be surprising.
It was surprising to me, and that's why I decided to go to Mexico City and see this plastic surgeon. He applied the Fibonacci, the golden ratio, which is kind of 2/3, 1/3. You know, it's been around a long time, and you can find examples of it in nature. You know, those shells like that, and the design of sunflowers on a sunflower plant. I mean, it turns up everywhere, apparently. Anyway, so this guy wrote this paper. There were a couple papers. One was on the perfect calf, and one was on the perfect proportion buttock proportions. And when he did a Brazilian butt lift, basically, taking fat from one place and applying it elsewhere, he would use the Fibonacci sequence. I imagined him with, I don't know, a protractor and markers. And he's like, no, I eyeball it. By now I can eyeball it. But anyway.
Wow.
So I just was kind of interested in that whole.
I was not expecting to read about the Fibonacci sequence.
In a butt chapter.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't either. And then
So would Sir Mix-a-Lot agree with these proportions?
Oh.
He likes big butts and he cannot lie.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you. I know the song.
So it's just yes, it's from the 90s, actually. It's a pretty old song.
Yeah,
it is
like big butts and I cannot lie.
But it has to do with any evolving aesthetic that this involves.
So I was interested because this was the first chapter that I reported. So it was, going back some years. And the Kardashian butt was the big thing at that point. And that is
literally.
Yes, it was the big thing. Yes, and that is not.
That evolved from the J-Lo butt to the
Kardashian
Kardashian butt.
Yes, the original, the OG.
The OG butt.
You know a lot about this.
Yeah. So I was curious. Now is he discarding Fibonacci for Kardashian? Like, how does he deal with this? Anyway, so it was an interesting conversation and an interesting afternoon seeing this person have their fat from here put here and back here.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned prosthetics just a minute ago, but we have some really advanced prosthetics that have come on with microprocessors. They cost a lot of money to the point, are they worth it? And then I asked myself,
Well, what do you need a chip in your implant for?
because you've got them. So
Well,
use
Like
them.
you get a
Not
butt
your
implant
butt,
with a
not your-
chip?
No,
not
not the
your
butt.
butt.
No, the
Be a smart
prosthetic.
ass. What?
Yay!
Good one.
Yeah, use that one tonight.
Good one.
Yeah,
That's
use
a
that
great-
one.
that's a great-
No, but seriously, what do you need a
Smart
chip?
ass.
Not in your
Not in your butt, no, in a
okay.
prosthetic.
In
Oh, in a
a
prosthetic,
yeah.
leg or a,
Okay.
or
See,
an
and then
arm.
another
yeah.
story.
Then I started to read further through the chapter and went, they cost how much? And they're not even waterproof.
They're not, and the battery needs to be charged. And they're heavy. That's another thing. But for a leg, particularly if it's an upper leg, they're pretty great for legs. They can help.
Well, how do you
they
get
can
the stability in your center of gravity when you've got another prosthetic that comes?
Practice. Yeah, but they can kind of, like, if they sense that you're about to fall, they can kind of help prevent that. And there's some that use AI to kind of learn your gait. And I mean, so the legs have come a long way. The legs are a lot. I mean, I went to the national gathering of the Amputee Coalition. So it's a huge, they book the whole hotel.
That's a thing.
That's a thing. And you're in the lobby and everybody has a prosthetic leg. It's kind of great. So, but not so many arms, because the arms are, because the fingers, that's a
the fingers are
problem.
very
Like
difficult.
you can sort of toggle through the grip, but it's kind of wonky. It's not
So-
quite there yet.
So how much of the Bionic Man are we today? How far have we come? In the
What was
50
he,
years
arms?
since the 1970s.
He's legs and arms and eye.
Legs, arms, eye.
Oh, he had all his organs, though. Is
Yeah,
that
I think
right?
so.
Yeah.
His torso.
As far as I know.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, yeah.
it's just legs and arms.
And it had his own brain. Yeah.
He had his own brain.
Okay. So we're kind of there.
But the eye, the optic nerve, is
I
kind
was
of
gonna
part
say
of the
that's-
brain.
Yeah, it is.
So
And that's
Looks like you're watching Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson. How do you know that?